So women's volleyball night here at SF State. I'm Zach, this is Ashley, and we have a Northwest divisional matchup tonight. The Humboldt Jacks will be facing off against the SF State Gators. Ashley, how do you think the Humboldt Jacks are going to square up tonight?
Well, you know, they're coming off, they have a 3-12 overall record, and they are 0-7 in conference play. They have a 7-game losing streak, and it'll be interesting to see because they are fifth in blocks, so I think defense is going to be pivotal for them against SF State tonight. How do you think SF State's going to match up tonight against the Humboldt Jacks?
Yeah, well, SF State started off hot this season. They were 4-0. After that, they struggled to stay afloat in the division a little bit, only going 4-7 in games following that. So tonight is a big game as it's a divisional matchup. SF State's looking to keep their playoff dreams alive with a win tonight, especially after coming back off of that 3-0 loss to East Bay last week. So a win here tonight is definitely important for the SF State Gators in order to make it to the divisional playoffs.
And not only playoffs, a win tonight will match our conference win total from last year. They're looking to for the most wins since 2015. So I think it'll be pivotal tonight to watch some key players. We do have some leading players, as in Drew Morris, who's the top 10 in the CCAA in kills per set with 3.06. We have Peyton Jensen, she's third in assists per set with 10.62 in conference.
Yeah, Jessica Haney as well is tied for third for service per set with .43, and Donovan is actually ninth with .38 in CCAA. So a few star players here tonight for SF State, and we'll see how they match up.
Right, Humboldt State Jacks defense is going to be pivotal for them, but SF State ranks fourth in the CCAA in hitting percentage with a mark of .231, and I think that's just going to be a great matchup tonight to watch the hitting against the defense.
Yeah, it looks like we're about to get started here. We got Humboldt State serving over the net, and it's out. 1 for SF State. Serving now number 20, Peyton Jensen for SF State. Serve makes it over.
In play, we got a set.
Dug out by SF State. Set and a spike coming in. Dug back out by Humboldt. Another set. Humboldt gets it back over. Dug out by SF State. Spike coming in, and it's a block and a point for SF State. Number 20, Peyton Jensen, still serving for SF State. She gets ready to go here.
Peyton Jensen, just a freshman out of Burbank. She comes from Village Christian High School.
Tipped over by Humboldt. Dug out by SF State. Spike coming. Dug out by Humboldt. And the spike dug by SF State. Set up. Spike coming in, and it's a point for SF State.
Another for Jessica Haynes, the sophomore out of Winchester. She transfers from UC Riverside. She stands at 6 foot.
Yeah, SF State really chomping away here. Already up 3-0 in the first set. Jensen is still serving.
Underclassmen proving pivotal for SF State.
Miscommunication there by Humboldt. Looks like SF State has momentum here. Another spike coming in, and it's not blocked. Another point, SF State.
The senior from Gilroy, transferred to Rio College.
Still serving Jensen. Getting herself ready here. Serve does not make it over the net. 1 point for Humboldt here. Sub-ins coming for Humboldt. Number 23, Hannah Cottrell. Humboldt serving here, number 9, Natalia Picone. And she gets it. It's an ace for Humboldt. 4-2.
Olivia Tabron failed to dig that out.
Picone continues to serve here, coming across net. Dug out by SF State. Nice set. Here comes the spike. And it's a point.
For Jessica Haney, the sophomore from Winchester, is on fire. She's an SF State leader with 146 kills, 3 so far tonight. Let's see how many she tallies up at the end of the night.
Jessica Haney serves across net. We have a set by Humboldt. Weak spike over the net. Another setup by SF State. Weak spike. Dug out. Humboldt coming back, and their spike is blocked. However, it falls out of bounds. Humboldt with the point. 5-3 now.
SF State ranks 6th in blocks.
Subs coming in for SF State, number 13, Jade Gillespie. Number 17 serving for Humboldt, and it's spiked by SF State.
Olivia Tabron, the senior from Gilroy, is on fire. She's got 2 tonight. Tremendous power.
Number 6 for SF State, Vanessa Ditz, is now serving. Gets it over the net. It's dug out by Humboldt. Set, spike, and it's out of bounds. SF State point.
Great communication skills by SF State. They look like their chemistry is really coming along here at the end of conference play.
Serve over the net by SF State. Dug out by Humboldt. Back over the net to SF State. They set. Here comes a spike. It is dug out.
All still in play.
Got to get it over the net here. Yep. Humboldt continues to rally. SF State looking for a kill. Blocked by Humboldt. Another kill coming for SF State. Wow, what a rally. Here we go. Spike by SF State.
Another one.
8-3 now. Gators lead it in the first set. Number 6, Vanessa Ditz, continues her serving dominance here. See if she can get another one. Dug out by Humboldt. Spike set. Humboldt sets it up for another spike. Gets it over the net. Dug out by Ditz. A light spike, and it falls through. SF State with another point.
Sophomore from Temecula coming in clutch. That's her 2nd point of the night for the Gators. Great communication skills so far. I think the underclassmen are really showing out for the Gators right now. Humboldt State calls time out. Just too much for them to handle right now.
Yeah, timeout called by Humboldt State. Trying to talk things over. They're down by 6 in this first set. Yeah, they're looking to not lose again tonight as they would fall to 0-8 in the conference.
Score is 9-3. SF State, the Gators really got out on a hot streak. Again, the the underclassmen are leading this team so far. I think they're doing great. I think the underclassmen have just been proving pivotal, and they show up. I mean, they're not small bodies. These girls are 6 foot, 6'1".
This is
pure dominance against the Humboldt State Jacks.
There are a lot of underclassmen on both teams, but SF State really showing out tonight, looking to continue their dominance, at least in the first set, up by 6, and they got out to that hot start. I think it was 3 points in a row before Humboldt could get the ball back.
I mean, we said defense was going to be pivotal for the Humboldt. So far, the offense has overwhelmed the defense. We'll see how the rest of this game plays out.
Yeah, it just seems that SF State's too powerful right now. Vanessa Ditz is continuing to serve. She seems pretty solid from that, consistently gets it over the net. Spike coming in, and it's blocked by SF State. 10-3. Humboldt just really can't seem to get that dig on some of these spikes coming from the SF State women. They're just coming in too hot, and then when they think they're going to come in hot, they just kind of drop it over with that teardrop spike.
Bailey Johnson's really showing out right now. She leads the team in blocks with 48. She's got 2 so far.
That is number 14, Bailey Johnson, with the kill right there. Just too much for this Humboldt State defense. Not looking good in the first set here.
She leads in blocks, and she's 3rd in kills. So just an overall around player we got in Bailey Johnson.
Blocked by number 11, Olivia Tabrone. Looked like both Olivia and number 14, Bailey Johnson, got up there for that block.
They're a great power duo tonight.
Yeah, both of them standing 5'11". It's just two tall forces right there at the front of the line for SF State. And right there, they jump a little bit too early, and the ball sneaks over their heads. But for the most part, they get about, I'd say, a foot above the net, and that's just too much arm for these Humboldt State girls to get the ball over.
That soft touch by Hannah Contrell, the 6-foot sophomore from Sacramento for Humboldt State. Put a light touch on that. Trying to slow down the block, and right at this point, another spike. Olivia Tabrone is just on fire right now.
Yeah, and she wasn't on our list to watch at the beginning of the game, but she is killing it with the spikes right now.
More Donovan coming in a substitute for her. 5'6", redshirt sophomore from Moscow, Idaho.
Serve over the net. Dug out by Humboldt State. They got a set. Spike coming. Tipped off of SF State. Saved by number 6. Great spike dug out by Humboldt State.
Taylor Vancy.
Drew Morris really showing out with these saves here for SF State. Oh, what a dig by number 9.
Taylor Vancy again with that dig. Defense proving pivotal once again for the Humboldt State Jacks. Let's see if they can get one rolling.
Great set from number 20 right there. Number 1. Wow, Drew Morris with her signature spike coming in hot on the Humboldt defense.
The sophomore is just coming to play. 14-4, Gators lead. Another serve here by Mara Donovan.
It looked like a missed set right there by number 23, Hannah Contrell.
Miscommunication, we don't see that really too much with the Humboldt State Jacks.
Yeah, it looks like Contrell is also fighting a left knee injury. See how that plays out for the rest of these sets, but not looking good so far for Humboldt. Serve is good. Set up by Humboldt. Spike is blocked by SF State. Spike again blocked by SF State, and it's a point to SF State, 16-4. Wow, that defensive powerhouse at the front for SF State. Number 14, Bailey Johnson.
And Drew Morris. All showing out great communication skills. They all set up the block right there. It's interesting. SF State is only 6th in blocks. I mean, Humboldt State just has nothing to show right now as far as offense is going.
Yeah, and you can see why Humboldt is 0-7 so far in conference this season. Just defense isn't there. Seems every time that they get a spike set up, those big defensive jumps from the SF State women are just blocking the spikes right back towards them. Can't get anything going. It's just resulting in points for SF State.
Unfortunately for the Humboldt State Jacks, they rank last in assists, hitting percentage, and in kills, and that is so far showing out tonight against the SF State Gators here at the Swamp. Zach, what adjustments do you think the Humboldt State Jacks need to make in order to get back up into this game and not have a total blowout for this first game at the
there's a few things they could do. Not much they can do for SF State stopping their spikes, but they need to be able to dig out the SF State spikes, and that's really what's going on, is that SF State is just spiking it where the Humboldt women aren't, and it's resulting in points. So
coming out with more charisma. They have more energy, it seems, and they're feeding off of each other. Great communication skills. So we'll see if Humboldt State can get together.
Donovan continues serving here for SF State, makes it across net. Looks to be set up by Humboldt, a spike coming in, and it's too far.
Out of bounds.
Yeah, it looks like she's trying to compensate for that defender from SF State by hitting it a little farther back, and she's just hitting it too far past the line, resulting in a point for SF State.
Yeah, as you can see, Humboldt State is trying to make adjustments. This first game might not be theirs, but the second game will definitely come out warmed up, ready to play. They'll know what the defense is doing, and hopefully they can make adjustments.
Carla Crespo right now serving for Humboldt State, gets it across net. It's bumped to number 1, who spikes it, dug out by Humboldt State. Gets past the defense for SF State now, set up again, looking for a spike. It's a light tap over the net, and Drew Morris once again.
Nice save by Maura Donovan for SF State right there. Again, the offense is just killing this Humboldt State Jack defense.
It's almost like an instinct for Morris. As soon as she sees those defensemen go up, she just gives it a light little tap over their hands, and it just drops in for a point. Really good technique. Let's see if she continues it for the rest of these sets. Number 14, Bailey Johnson gets that over the net. And number 14 for Humboldt State, Kayla Costello cannot save it. Another point for SF State, 18-5.
Kayla Costello, the 5'7" junior from Crescent City. She's a transfer. She's at a high school, Del Norte.
Drew Morris can't get it over the net there. Looks like it's going to be number 21 serving for Humboldt State. It is Odelia Ryan. Ryan serves across net, set up by SF State. Spike blocked by Humboldt, and it's out of bounds. Point to SF State, 19-6. Number 14 serving now, Bailey Johnson once again for SF State. See what she can get going here. Serve comes across net. Number 14, Costello bumps it, gets a spike from number 15, Lennox Loving. Cannot be returned by SF State. Point to Humboldt.
Miscommunication there from Drew Morris as she tries to communicate there with number 14, Bailey Johnson. Those two are power players. However, they both went after the ball. Rare miscommunication as we've seen tonight. They had been hot together.
Number 13 serving for Humboldt. That is Bartolucci.
Nice spike out there. New face Marlena Billings, the freshman out of Elk Grove. Consumers Oak High School.
Number 20, Peyton Jensen now serving. She is a senior this year. Freshman this year. Looking to serve. Gets across net. Bumped by Humboldt State. Spike coming. Dropped over the net. Looks like a point for Humboldt State.
That light tap is just working for Humboldt State. It looks like they found a temporary adjustment as San Francisco State works more fast-paced, and Humboldt State's trying to slow that offensive defense down.
Yeah, that might work for Humboldt State right now, but if SF State makes an adjustment in between sets for that light tap over the defense, they're going to need to figure something out. But for right now, it looks like it's working for Humboldt State.
20-8 to score.
Peyton Jensen with the set to set up a nice spike by SF State.
We're going to be saying her name a lot tonight. She is just on fire.
Yeah, number 11, Sabron, getting that spike there. A force that is unmatched by Humboldt State right now. Spike coming in just over the SF State defense. Set up. Another spike coming from number 1, Drew Morris. Dug out by number 21, Humboldt State. Set right here. Spike from Morris again. That teardrop just right over the top of the defense. Luckily this time it's saved by Humboldt and rallied back. Number 11 really just sent that in there to Brown.
Look at Tabron. Gas in the tank, and the swamp is just alive right now.
Yeah, they're alive and chomping. I mean, these spikes coming in from Tabron and from Drew Morris are unmatched right now by that Humboldt defense.
22-8, Jessica Haney.
Humboldt State with the light spike over the net. Set up, and a hard spike coming in from number 26.
Marlena Billings, the freshman out of Elk Grove again. Miscommunication skills early on for SF State.
Serve goes out of bounds here for SF State. Humboldt State gets a point. 23-9.
Sub out as number 15, Jake Gillespie. Sophomore out of Campbell. Transfer from Hawaii Pacific.
Number 17 served again for Humboldt State. Looks like the spike has now been blocked out of bounds. SF State point, 24-9. Number 6, Vanessa Ditz will serve again. See how she pans out on this serve here. Ooh, off the net.
197.
Bad serve there for SF State. Point goes to Humboldt. Now serving for Humboldt State is going to be number 14, Kayla Costello once again.
Crescent City.
Gets it over the net here, set up by SF State. And Morris with a spike. Gets dug out by Humboldt State. Popped back over the net by Humboldt. Another set looks like right here. Spike is blocked, dug back out. Ditz sets it back up for Morris. And that spike is dug out by Humboldt State. Too far of a spike for Humboldt there. SF State takes the first set, 25-10. Looking to win 3 in a row and shut out these Humboldt State Jacks. They will switch sidelines and start set 2 just shortly. But wow.
Topic over those Jacks so far. It looked like Humboldt State was starting to match the tempo of the Gators. And
yeah, they started off a little bit slow. Humboldt State did, and they seemed to pick it up there at the second part of that set. With those
offense looking more competitive for Humboldt State, although it was too late as the Gators held to get a lead for the Humboldt State Jacks.
Yeah, SF State just started off too hot. They scored, I think it was at 4 consecutive points. And after that, it was a matter of Humboldt trying to play catch up. It seemed like they almost found it there at the end, but once again, the spikes coming from Drew Morris. The sets coming from Ditz and
Jessica Haney, Olivia Tebron. I mean, the communication skills between the SF State Gators, they did not slow down. Hopefully, if they keep this energy up, then they're going to be able to get that confidence and make it much more to get in the playoff.
Yeah, if SF State continues its dominance right now, they're going to run Humboldt State right out of the swamp here. So we'll see how it goes down in this second set. But as of right now, all of the momentum is in SF State's hands. Humboldt just seems like they're trying to play some catch-up right now. Hopefully they can start out a little bit better on this next set so that SF State doesn't just take this in 3 consecutive ones.
Yeah, Humboldt State looking for their first conference win. They're on an 0-7 losing streak.
Yeah, I think one of the key things for SF State right now is that defense. Number 26, Billings, along with Jensen, they're just jumping up in front of the net and blocking a majority of the spikes coming from Humboldt. And it just seems that Humboldt can't get those spikes past them. Even when they get blocked and they're right back at them, they seem to drop to the ground before they can dig it out. So something is going to need to be done about those SF State defensemen. Otherwise, it's going to be a blowout for the rest of this game.
Lauren Reed's going to have to show up for Humboldt State. She's the leader with the Bills. She's got 141 thus far on the season. Natalie Pacone, she's got 216 digs, an impressive amount of defense for the Humboldt State Jacks. She's also got to show up. We have yet to see these key players for Humboldt State make an appearance, as the Gators are just proving to be too powerful and too capable. The communication skills are just on point for the Gators right now.
Yeah, and you can see why SF State ranks 4th in the CCAA in hitting percentage. They're just getting to every ball, it seems like, that crosses over the net, and they're letting go the ones that are too far past the line, and it's just resulting in more points for them. They're relying a lot, too, on Humboldt State, just hitting the ball too far, trying to get past the defenseman, and it's resulting in the ball just going over the line and SF State point. So you can see why this SF State team, even though their record doesn't show it, they're a very good team. Humboldt State just does not have something to counteract that. All right, looks like we're getting started here in the second set as the clock ticks down. SF State and Humboldt both coming onto the court. Got the star players in for SF State. All right.
these Gators do seem more energetic than the Jacks, but I mean, the Gators cannot let up just because they won this first set with ease does not mean they can let up and let the Jacks get back into this, because we're going to be looking at a tough game if the Jacks can get an early lead here.
Yeah, it seems like Humboldt State is still tired from that bus ride. A little bit of a travel for them, but they got to pick up the energy here in the second set. Number 20, it looks like, serving for SF State. Peyton Jensen gets the ace. There it is, 1-0, hot out of the gate for SF State.
Yeah, Carla Crespo unable to handle the set. Again, SF State ranks 4th in service aces, showing it out tonight against the Jacks.
Spike blocked by SF State, got back into their court. Just a nice tap over the net by SF State. Set back up by Humboldt. Dug out by Ditz. Set back up. Number 9 with a spike that gets blocked. Humboldt State still rallying, gets a spike over. Set back up. Oh, and that's a beautiful spike by number 11, Olivia Tabrone.
She has not slowed down. She's keeping up this tempo here in the second game.
Not one bit. And she is controlling this game like it's her game and everyone else is just playing in it.
Exactly.
So we'll see how this continues for her. Nice over the net serve. Dug out by SF State. Hits the net and falls down for a point for Humboldt State.
Finally seeing
that's going to be a
Natalie Picone show up. She is serving for the Humboldt State Jacks. She is their leader in digs with 216.
Spike by number 11 there to Barone again.
Dug that one out. Very impressive. Quick reflexes. There she is again.
Nice spike by Humboldt State. Dug out. Set back up. Number 9 for SF State. Jessica Haney.
The sophomore from Winchester. Again, she has not slowed down. She and Olivia Tabron have just kept up their tempo, and they are not slowing down thus far.
Yeah, and it seems like Haney is going to be serving right here. Nice serve over the net. Set up by Humboldt. Spike coming in. Oh, it falls between the defense of SF State. Haney unable to dig that out. Seems like one of their only mistakes so far by SF State, not having women in position here to dig out that spike. But not too bad. 3-2 lead continues for SF State. Serve coming from number 17, Savannah Horton.
Digs are not SF State's strength. They ranked 8th in the conference.
Spike tried to be saved by number 6, Ditz, but falls out of bounds for a tie. Game tying point, 3-3. Humboldt State serve. Number 17, Savannah Horton continues her serving dominance here. Dug out by SF State. The set goes over the net. Surprises Humboldt State. They dig it out. Comes back to SF State. It's blocked. The spike is blocked. Sent back over to Humboldt. Another block by SF State. A spike coming back over from Humboldt. Dug out by Ditz. Set up by number 20.
Tabron again with the spike. Tabron again.
Set up by number 20. Tabron coming back. It's blocked. What a rally we got going here. Spike by Drew Morris. It gets through the Humboldt defense, but dug out. And a spike goes out of bounds for Humboldt.
Point SF State Gators.
Great rally there by SF State and Humboldt.
Kind of sucking the life out of the Jacks there. Looking to gain some momentum in this game. I mean, they just cannot do it.
The Jacks looking like a whole different team after that great.
Coming out with more energy.
They have found some answers to this SF State offense. Number 14 serving for Humboldt State, Kayla Costello.
Scores 4-4. Out of bounds.
On the opposite end for SF State. Goes out of bounds. Substitutes coming in for SF State. Looks like number 3, Mara Donovan, checks back in for them.
That's your sophomore from Idaho.
Serve just sneaks over the net, dug out by number 21 at Humboldt. Spike. SF State's point, 6-4.
Moore Donovan is right behind Jessica Haney with 20 service aces. She's been pivotal to the SF State Gators offense.
And I think the reason she gets so many aces, if you watch, her serves just barely sneak over that net. Tough for the defense to read if it's going to hit the net or not. Oh, what a
block. Excellent block. We talk about this chemistry. Bailey Johnson and Drew Morris, they are just on fire with these blocks.
The defensemen for SF State are just putting up blocks right now on these Humboldt State spikes.
It's like a wall with Peyton Jensen over there. I mean, it's hard to spike over those 6-foot
exactly
volleyball players over there.
It's just not going to be the answer. I think that's what's giving SF State the advantage right now. Those three tall defensive players.
Yeah, the Gators have held the momentum, and the Jacks have just not been able to pick themselves back up. And although the momentum is staying with the Gators, they kept up the energy, and so the Gators are now only holding a 4-point lead over the Jacks. It's a little bit harder to gain these victories.
Tids could not dig it out this time. Point 2, State 8-5. SF State coach with some words of wisdom stepping onto the court there.
Sometimes they get a little excited over there. Substitution, number 15, Lennox Loving comes out.
Looks like Carla Crespo checks in to serve here for Humboldt State in an 8-5 game. Sneaks over the net, looked like a knuckleball a little bit there. Dug out by SF State, set back up for the spike. Drew Morris with a great spike. Dug out by Humboldt State, but cannot be returned. 9-5 Gators.
Unfortunate for the Jacks to keep the ball on their side as Carla Crespo is third in service aces for the Jacks. She stands at 15.
And Drew Morris just showing that she is a jack of all trades, serving, spiking, playing defense, really doing it all here for this team.
You see the momentum picking up for the Gators.
Spike by number 14. Bailey Johnson goes out.
A lot of energy, just a little bit too much on the ball as it went out of bounds.
Yeah, it seemed like she didn't quite get on top of it too much. It looked like she was a little underneath it. It caused that ball to backspin a little bit and float out of bounds. Drew Morris once again.
Serving for the Gators.
Throws that ball up high, sneaks it over the net. Spike by Humboldt, set up by Ditz. Again by number 20, and a spike coming in by number 14, Bailey Johnson.
They get it in, and it is so tough to read that ball when it's coming at you.
She's hitting it about 100 miles an hour, so.
We got to talk to these Gators about what their weight room routine is.
Exactly. Oh, that's a ace by Drew Morris.
Kayla Costello unable to dig that out.
Continuing their dominance. It was close at the beginning of this set, but once again, SF State just seems to be running away with it as a timeout is called by Humboldt State.
I think what gives the Gators that edge is they just have so much power behind the ball. I mean, the Jacks are able to use some great energy, but not nearly to the amount of the SF State Gators. The power behind Costello, Morris, Haney, Tabron. I mean, they've got a full power lineup, and they are not letting up so far in the second game. They lead 12-5. Again, what adjustments can Humboldt make to stick up to them?
Yeah, it seemed like at the beginning of this matchup, at least for this set, that they had that rally at the beginning where Humboldt was digging out spikes, they were getting blocks. They were doing all the right things, it seemed like, and just being on the bad end of the scoring. But after that, SF State got a couple of aces. They ended up going on a run here, and that's resulted in them with a 12-5 lead. Humboldt State having to call timeout to readjust their game plan. We'll see. What do you think SF State needs to do to continue dominating? What are some?
I mean, not let up. I mean, it looks like they're using all of their force. Hopefully, they're not taking too much out of the tank before the third game and before they can close this series out. They've got a lot of power, but they're using a lot of it. So let's see how they can hold up and keep up their energy.
Yeah, it looks like we're checking back in after that timeout. Drew Morris once again serving, chucking that ball up.
12-5 Gators as we enter again in this game 2.
Dug out by Ditz, set up by number 20.
Peyton Jensen.
Saved again. Pumped over by number 14, Bailey Johnson. Oh, and spike gets through for Humboldt. 12-6. Number 3 checks out.
Number
Emma
3, Moore Donovan. she checks out there.
Number 21, Odelia Ryan serving. Can't be returned by SF State. It's another point. Goes to Humboldt State, 12-7. Seems like they did make a few adjustments in that timeout. Gone on a little run here, 2 points.
Odelia Ryan.
See if Ryan can continue her serving. Set up by Johnson.
14 Bailey
Spike by
Johnson.
SF State once
Building
again.
Again, communication skills are proving pivotal to these points here for SF State. And Humboldt does not have an offense yet as Bitts checks out.
Yeah, it seems like these SF State women are just communicating a little bit better. Humboldt State's getting caught in these awkward positionings where the ball's just falling in between a few of them. It's not looking good. Right now we got number 7 for SF State, Brianna Doherty, serving. Spike coming in from Humboldt State, and that falls through.
Brianna Doherty
Number 9, Natalia Picone.
Brianna Doherty currently leads with 17 service aces.
Looks like number 13, Juliana Bertolucci, is now serving for Humboldt. See if he gets it over the net here. Dug out.
Crowd.
Oh, and the block by Humboldt, but falls on their side of the net for another point. SF State, 14-8. Number 11, the dominant Olivia Tabrone checks back in. Needed her a little break here. Here she comes in for some more spikes.
Jessica Haney keeping up her power with that block.
Number 20, Jensen, serve goes too far. Looks like she just got underneath it, floated over.
Peyton Jensen stands at 5'8", and she's got a little power to her thin frame, unfortunately out of bounds for SF State.
Cody serve over the net, set up by Jensen.
Little tap over there, and Humboldt cannot stick with it.
Jensen has just been so good with that sneak set. She's been acting like she's going to set it to number 11, Tabrone, who's been killing the spikes. But she makes the set go right over the net and just drops in front of the defense.
Yeah, they're good at taking this defense off of their rocker again.
Yeah, now that Tabrone has established herself for SF State, it gives Jensen a little bit of leeway to send that set over the net or set it right back up for Tabrone to spike it. And either way,
Humboldt State does not have an answer.
Yeah, it seems like it's resulting in points either way.
SF State Gators getting crafty with their spikes. 16-9 lead. That ball hits the top of the gym.
And number 26, Billings, and number 11, Olivia Tabrone, can just not be stopped at the top of the net right here.
Looks like their fingers went a little bit over the net.
But they still maintain the points. 17-9 for the Gators.
Seems like they may have gotten away with a little bit of fingers over the net there. All's fair. 17-10, SF State. Looking to take set 2. Looking for a shutout here. Number 17, Savannah Horton, hits the net on her serve, does not make it over. Point goes to SF State, 18-10.
The Humboldt State Jacks.
Vanessa Dietz.
Looking a bit washed right now. They don't have an answer for the energy. Nice spike there by SF State. And blocked again by number 11 and number 14. Bailey Johnson and Olivia Tabrone.
Goes to another timeout here.
Again, great communication skills with Tabrone and Johnson. They seem to be the people that the Gators work around. They seem to be that foundation for the Gators offense and defense. They just provide the power for the Gators.
Yeah, and that front three is pretty versatile. We got number 11, Olivia Tabrone. We got number 26, Marlena Billings. And Peyton Jensen, we can't forget about her, number 20. She is just setting these spikes up for Tabrone and for Billings.
475. That is an impressive 475. Her numbers are going to continuously go up as she continues to dominate against the Jacks.
Yeah, and once again, it just seems like at the beginning of the set, Humboldt seems to be in it, and then SF State just runs away with it as soon as Tabron gets going and Jensen sets. Seems like they just take over this game. We'll see if they can continue it through this set. 6 more points before SF State takes it again in consecutive sets. Nessa Dietz once again serving.
The Jacks are going to look for Picone, Ryan, and Crespo to help out with those blocks.
Out of bounds, point to SF State, 20-10. And again, the Gators have just run away with the lead.
Ditz here serving again.
Spike by number 15, Lennox Loving goes out of bounds, 21-10, SF State.
I don't see much power behind those spikes coming from the Humboldt State Jacks.
No, not at all. It seems like they're really caught off guard. Spikes just aren't landing where they need to. And the spikes aren't coming off of sets either. They're coming off of bumps, which I think could be messing them up a little bit. Because these spikes are so powerful from SF State, they just can't seem to get sets up in time. It seems to just be bumps, and that's what I think is messing up.
Olivia Tabron again with the kill. Dug up by Ditz. And communication skills, again, are proving pivotal to the Gators' offense, 22-10.
Dietz continues her serving. Tabron and Drew Morris, 2-star players, check out for SF State.
Got substitutions here, trying to keep that
Power fresh for the offense. Dug out by 13, Jay Gillespie.
Dietz with a beautiful set. Got to get it over the net here. Oh, and it stays in. Oh, looks like a debate here. And they give it to SF State, 22-11.
Caitlin Clement, the redshirt senior from Crescent City who just checked in. Had that spike come out of bounds. A little bit of miscommunication there.
Number 14, Kayla Costello serving, just gets it over the net. Spiked by SF State. Returned by Humboldt over the net. Jensen setting it up beautifully. Dietz with the bump. Number 12.
Out of bounds again.
Really sending that one over.
Caitlin Clement cannot find it in the court so far tonight.
fortunately for the Jacks, and they still are trying to use that tip-tap
For those spikes coming in. They don't have the power behind the ball, so they're trying to catch the Gators off guard.
Beautiful block by Humboldt. They need to keep doing that if they want to stay in this game. Great dig.
Clement with that power again. Ditz with the set.
Humboldt State, miscommunication again. That ball was going out.
Ditz cannot dig it out.
Beautiful effort by Dietz there, but she just could not get it high enough for Jensen to set it for a spike. Tried her best, but could not get the job done.
She is their leader in digs, so the Gators do expect her to be dominant back there as she has been thus far.
Looks like they called a penalty on SF State. I'm not quite sure what for.
I think she might have touched the net there
Possibly
again. I said that they were reaching. They did not get called for it in the first place, so trying to go for it again, trying to get that advantage over the Jacks.
Trying to see what they can sneak past the ref here, and she definitely saw it that time, yeah.
Again with a soft touch. Nice
beautiful
dig by Gillespie there.
Humboldt State just
soft touch again.
Over, and it gets the job done.
Gillespie cannot get that out.
Humboldt State closing the gap here a little bit. Only 7 points now instead of the 12 that they were down by. So
we talk about their offense being a powerhouse. They're using a lot of energy, and they seem to be slowing down a bit here. Momentum shifting just a little for the Jacks. Gators cannot dig that out. Number 17, Ashley Posey, checking back out as she just checked back in. Caitlin Clement, they both leave the game. We have number 1, Drew Morris, checking back in, and number 11, Olivia Tabron. Right back at Olivia. Beautiful dig by Ditz.
Oh, Drew Morris just
we've got a rally here
at the Humboldt State defense. Dug out again by Ditz. Sent back
Olivia Tabron. A little softer touch. Nice block again. 14 and 11. Their communication skills are just on point. They don't even need to communicate with each other. They just have that great of a chemistry there for those blocks.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the chemistry is a little stronger with SF State. Humboldt just seems to be out of communication at times. Balls are falling in between players, really just not being able to get those digs that they're wanting to from these spikes that are coming from the SF State offense.
More Donovan, the redshirt sophomore, unable to get that serve over.
Humboldt State, Odelia Ryan continues serving. Ditz with the bump, Jensen with the set, and that spike by number 14, Bailey Johnson, seems to have stepped out of bounds.
She might have stepped out on the white line again. They're getting just too close.
Going to the judges' table. See what the call is. SF State players seem confused. Humboldt State players seem like they'll take it in a close match here in the second set.
Weird. We've been watching a fast tempo game. Humboldt State finally catching up to the Gators as far as communication, as far as the power behind the serves. It's weird change of tempo here
as we wait for the judge's call.
Yeah, waiting on the verdict here. Don't quite see what happened. I believe she stepped out on that white line. We got subs coming in. Number 1 for Humboldt, Carla Crespo, coming in to serve.
Gators lead 24-17.
Oh, looks like we got 2 balls on the court here.
Bit confused as to who gained the point.
Crespo eager to get the serve off, and it seems like Drew Morris has served for SF State. As that confusion from the judges' tables continues, now the head coach for SF State calling for another sub. Number 9, Jessica Haney will come back in, checking in for number 13, Jade Gillespie.
She stands at 6 foot, and she is ready to let it go.
Yeah, it seems like they've got the 2 tall defensemen and the set player in Jensen.
Nice block.
Jensen with a beautiful block for her size, only standing 5'8", but really getting up there.
Humboldt State.
It's the point there, as I believe the SF State blockers had touched the net once again.
This is match point here. Dug out by SF State, set by Jensen. Oh, and the spike is blocked. Sent back into the SF State backcourt.
Bailey Johnson just hit that ball into the wall, and the Humboldt State Jackson's defense is finally showing out. Gaining more momentum.
And that's match
ball
point.
Out of bounds.
SF State leads 2-0 after 2 sets.
Unfortunately for the
Jacks,
there.
Talk it over.
Unfortunately for the Jacks there.
Humboldt State.
Great communication skills, and they could not gain that point, even though it looked like they were getting a little bit of momentum there, Zach.
Yeah, Humboldt State seemed to really rally there at the end. It's a matter, I feel like, of them staying consistent. They really need to show that fire that they show from the get-go of the set, because, again, at the beginning and at the end of the set, Humboldt State played really well. It was that middle part where SF State took over and went on, I think it was a 8 or 9 point run. And that's just where SF State, they're playing consistent, they're playing smart, they're communicating. And Humboldt just seems to show flashes of that, but not quite being able to play consistently.
Yeah, they're not playing consistently, but they are matching the Gators offense to an extent. Unfortunately, the communication skills are not as great as the Gators, and that is what has been proven pivotal to really maintaining that lead. I mean, SF State had a little bit of a scare there, losing that lead, the lead cutting short to about 5 points. And then again, with communication skills, they were able to call that ball out of bounds, and the Humboldt State Jacks lost their momentum, and they're going in this third game, hoping that the Gators are tired, a little bit worn out. They've got great leaders in Tabrone, Morris, Haney, who have just been proven pivotal to the blocking, the spikes, and their leaders are really showing out. And again, underclassmen, so they've got a few years here at SF State.
Yeah, and I think the 2 players that stand out to me most right now is Dietz as well as Jensen. Jensen is a freshman and showing poise beyond her years, setting up beautiful spikes for these girls. She sent them up for Billings and for Tabrone, as well as Drew Morris. But Vanessa Dietz is the libero, and she's doing a great job at getting the digs. She brings in that senior presence. She's been on the team for 4 years, She knows how this game works, and she seems like the leader out there, to be honest. She's serving. She's getting digs.
She is the leader. She is the dig leader.
Exactly. She really just seems to be dominating out there. The girls seem to respond to her well. She's communicating, and it seems like it's going from a dig from Dietz, going to a set from Jensen, and then having either Sabron or Morris or Billings just slamming it home for the SF State Gators. And it seems like an unstoppable force at this point. Gators have taken the first 2 sets.
Yeah, the Humboldt State
Jackets are going to look for an appearance for Lauren Reed. She is their leader in kills with 141. And they just really have yet to set a tone for as far as their power goes. And I don't really think that is their dominance this game. I think they're going to have to catch the Gators defense off guard.
They're going to have to, again, tip the ball over the net and confuse the Gator defense.
Yeah, that Gator defense again in Sabron, Morris, Billings, they're jumping up right as the ball is getting spiked, and it's just hitting their hands and going right back over the net for an SF State point. So in order for Humboldt to get something going, they're going to have to mix up their strategy, get balls to fall, get somewhere, get a spike to land, get some momentum change. That's how they're going to take over this game. But as of right now, down 2 sets, this next set could be the match. Not looking good for Humboldt, staring at another divisional loss right in the face.
That'll be their 8th loss in a row if they cannot
get this game over the Gators. And we saw a bit of flashes of chemistry when they were communicating. And
we heard leaders
such as Hannah Contrell, Odelia Ryan, and they were really trying to lead who was going to cover who. I mean, the powerhouses of the Gators are just dominating, but not when the Humboldt Jacks are communicating and can figure out an answer for the offense. That's when we saw flashes of really they gained the lead over the Gators if the Gators hadn't already had momentum to start the game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to need a major momentum swing here for Humboldt to walk away with the win. Definitely some things they can work on, though. They really need to get going with those spikes, digging them out, because SF State is just sending rockets at their defense.
Again, they're going to be looking for any shift in energy from the Gators so that they can take that lead, take advantage. The Gators cannot let up if they want to basically sweep here at the Swamp with 3-0.
Yeah.
For their first playoff berth.
Yeah, we'll see how it matches up in this third set, possibly the final.
Coach is bringing out
Waters, making sure his girls are hydrated. He's coaching this team fairly well, to say the least. I mean, they may be playing Humboldt State, but it looks like the Gators are more jacked.
Yeah, Gators just have that energy about them right now. Looking to take over this set once again, end it here in San Francisco.
Gators are looking a
bit more relaxed as they head out to this first game.
All right, getting going here. Looks like Humboldt, I believe, will be starting the serve out here. Yes, it will be. Number 13, Juliana Bertolucci. See how she fares up. Serve dug out by SF State, a light spike. Oh, dug out by Humboldt, but goes near the judges' table, unable to continue that rally. Once again, hot start for SF State coming out of the gate.
New face out there,
Marlena Billings. We saw her a bit in the second game as she starts this third game for the Gators.
Number 20 again for SF State. Peyton Jensen is just sneaking those serves over the net.
Miscommunication there
by Carla Crespo and Savannah Horton. Their defense, I mean, that's what we talked about. They would need to communicate better in order to gain any momentum against this Gator offense.
As of right now,
and
once again, a miscommunication play. Humboldt State telling everybody to back off. The ball's out of bounds and it ends up inbounds. Mistakes like that is what is going to cost this Humboldt State team a win here. Again, she's just hitting knuckleball serves right over the net. A beautiful spike by number 13.
Juliana Bertolucci, the sophomore from Petaluma.
Looks like number 9 from Humboldt State is serving Natalie Piconi.
We've seen rare instances of dominance from the Humboldt State Jacks. If they can maintain that throughout the game.
Beautiful spike by Drew Morris, once again showing her dominance. Set up by Jensen, coming back for a Tabrone spike. Hits off the top of the gym, and it's a misplay.
Again, miscommunication, and that is not going to win the Humboldt State Jacks this ball game. It is 4-1 Gators.
And believe it or not, these metal cross beams up above are in play. You got to be able to play it off of those crossbars. And that right there is what messed up the Humboldt defense. Didn't quite know what to do with it as it hit that crossbar, and it fell between three defenders. Got a nice little rally here going, just a tip over by Humboldt State.
23, hand control. That's what we said. They have no power behind their spikes, unfortunately. Not enough to get past the Gator defense, and they just tip it over, and
That is enough to catch the Gators off guard.
Savannah Horton now serving for Humboldt State. Jensen with the setup to Brone with a beautiful spike. That they count as inbound.
Number 9,
right on the line there.
Actually went for that ball, was unable to reach it, and fortunately for her and the Jacks, they get the point as it is out of bounds. We're going to be better with this in and out of bounds.
able to get to that ball. Runs into the deep bleachers.
Great effort there. Gotta love it. Down by 2 sets and still selling out in the front row.
That's why you play. It's why you play. The love of the game.
Beautiful spike by Humboldt, but dug out again by Dees. The set makes it over the net. Set up again by Humboldt, number 23. Hannah Contrell really just sends one home there, and that's how they're going to need to play it. Get it to where you only have one SF State defender, and you can be able to get that spike past them on one side or the other.
Yeah, she was able to get that by Jade Gillespie, number 13. Gillespie rarely unable to dig those out.
Oh, beautiful. Rocket sent by
Drew Morris.
Wow.
Sophomore showing out from Temecula. Once again, we said her name a lot in the first game. The second game, we saw a bit more powerhouse from Tabrone and Haney. But she's showing out, and she checks back out.
Great communication skills by SF State. And Drew Morris again. Oh, my goodness. Sends a spike and gets rejected. She even hits it again on the way back down, but it falls to the ground.
Unable to follow the ball.
Drew Morris really showing her dominance here.
Carla Crespo here to serve for the Humboldt State Jacks.
SF State with a spike right there. Return by Humboldt. And a spike by number 9.
Number 3, Emma Fluo, unable to get that back over the net. And there we see the power again from SF State. They have not let up, and that is what we said would put them down in this game, was just letting up off of their energy.
Drew Morris chucking that ball up high in the air and slammed it when it comes down on the serve. Dietz again with that save on the rebound, but unable to set anything up. Another point.
Peyton Chipton hits
it back into the net. And these sets right here by SF State, they're just powerful. We can hear them. They're loud. It is vibrating these bleachers right now.
Served by Humboldt, barely sneaks over, and SF State, number 14, Bailey Johnson, just has all the answers right now, tipping it in between the defense, falling to the ground for an SF State point, 9-5. See if they can take control. This is usually in the last few sets where SF State has gone on a run. As soon as they get that serve back, they just find their groove. This serve just sneaks over the net. Humboldt gets it back. SF State saves it, and once again, Humboldt spiking it off of the net, unable to get anything going.
Natalie Picon has not been on her best game tonight, and that is something the Jacks need in order to beat the SF State Gators.
Number 14, Bailey Johnson serving, and that is out of bounds. Point goes to Humboldt State, 10-6.
Humboldt State Jacks are going to have to look at Natalie Picone, Odelia Ryan, and Carla Crespo to help that offense. as they are the leaders.
Juliana Bertolucci out to serve now for Humboldt State. Gets it over the net, floater, set up by Jensen and spiked by Drew Morris, dug out on the other side by Humboldt. Drew Morris with the bump, Jensen with the spike, but gets it over with the set. Drew Morris again, Jensen now with the set. Number 9 on SF State. Jessica Haney just sends a rocket at the Humboldt State defense, scoring a point for her team.
Jessica Haney gets up like that, there is just a stop from the crowd here as she's just been so dominant.
And standing at 6 foot, she can jump another 1.5 feet, and it is just head and shoulders over the net right now. Another soft touch by Jessica Haney. Drops in between the defense for SF State. Scoring another point, 12-6. And once again, this is where SF State just takes over. A timeout called by Humboldt State. They're back on their heels. They don't know what to do. SF State seems cool, calm, and collected. Just everything seems to be going their way right now. Humboldt needs some answers.
Jessica Haney with the soft touch, the hard touch. She is just bringing it. She is keeping the defense off balance. And really right now, the Gators have all the momentum that they need. They haven't let up. They have kept up their energy. And that's all they need to do for 3 more points to beat the Humboldt State Jacks and gain playoff berth. So for the first time, I mean, they're looking for the most wins since 2015, and that is just an incredible start as the Gators have just looked so dominant.
Yes.
They may be right next to each other in conference play, but there's definitely a large gap between the two teams.
Exactly, and I think that right now the Jessica Haney as well as Peyton Jensen are just taking over this game. They're able to set the ball to set up spikes for the taller players like Billings, Drew Morris, but when they don't want to set up the spike, they just set it right over the net, and it's catching this Humboldt defense off guard. So it's giving them a lot of leeway to play with what kind of play they want to go with. If they want to set it up for a spike from one of their dominant players, or if they just want to sneak it over and catch them off guard. And it has been working both ways for SF State. Again, a block right there by number 26, Marlena Billings. Standing at 6 foot, those 3 defensemen right in front of the net for SF State, all 6 foot, just dominating the net.
The freshman from Elk Grove just has a nice touch to the ball. She just knows where the offense is going to put it. She's able to defend for the Gators.
Jensen serving now for SF State. Humboldt coming with the spike, dug out by SF State. Hits off the top of the head of Billings into the ground.
We call that a broadcaster's jinx.
Marlena Billings, I just complimented her, and the ball hits the top of her head. She was unaware of her surroundings as the ball hit the bar up there. And that's happened a lot this game, as there's so much power coming from mostly the Gators, but from both sides, really just power fighting through this game.
What a beautiful spike. Number 9 right there. Jessica Haney again.
The highlight of the game, one of the many. So much power behind her frame.
Oh, and a ball into the stands.
Number 23 for the Humboldt State Jacks.
Cannon Control unable to handle the serve. Match point.
And a penalty on Humboldt State right here. Coach arguing the call, saying that the SF State coach has also been doing it. I don't quite know what the call is. Seems a bit of confusion as number 9, Haney, continues to serve. 16-7 SF State.
Out of bounds, unfortunately, for Haney. Haney is actually the leader in service aces. We can see she's just got so much power. Sitting at 6 foot. She may have a thin frame, but she's got a lot of muscle behind that body.
Now serving number 17 for Humboldt State. Savannah Horton gets over the net. A spike comes over from SF State. Humboldt saves it. Spike that goes out of bounds from Humboldt. Another point for the SF State Gators.
(17-8), the Gators lead over the Jacks. Gets with the serve.
Heath serves it again.
Nice tap over there.
Oh, beautiful spike by Drew Morris. Once again,
Morris.
she's leading the team in kills this year. It's Timeout called by Humboldt State again, trying to think of a game plan as this third set is slipping through their fingers. A double-digit lead for the SF State Gators. See if they can put it away. 7 more points.
She saw that hole, and she went for it. I saw that eyesight, and she just knew exactly where she was going with the ball. That is tough to navigate for the Humboldt State Jacks. When you have such power forces for the SF State Gators who just know what they're doing, and the Jacks are already down 18-8. It's now a double-digit lead for the SF State Gators. Again, it's difficult to come back from that, but they're looking for leadership in their coach. She's trying to give them momentum.
Yeah, it's leadership in their coach as well as in their players. I mean, we've got a few seniors on this team, such as Natalie Piccone, needing to communicate a little bit more for this Humboldt team. Seems like they're just not on the same page sometimes. And that's how these runs like this happen for SF State, where they're ahead by 10. Miscommunications and misplays by Humboldt has resulted in a double-digit lead for SF State. A win here for SF State would preserve their playoff hopes. Looking for the most wins in a season since 2015. A spike by Humboldt goes into the net.
Kayla unable to get that over the net, and that is not the first time tonight. She has not been able to get those up. That's unable to get that serve over.
Serve hits the net. (19-9) now. Number 14, Kayla Costello will serve for Humboldt State. It hits the net, not even close.
Just looks like the Jacks have just lost all energy here. They're trying to garner whatever that they can muster.
Going to be a long bus ride back to Humboldt, especially with a game like this, falling 0-8 in conference. Serve coming by number 3. Mara Donovan, returned by number 23 on Humboldt State, Hannah Contrell, but it is blocked by SF State. Another point.
SF State unable to keep that block inbounds, and the Jacks the point there. 20-10, Gators lead. See a little heckling coming from the bench there.
Drew Morris just sending a rocket at the defense. Blocked by Humboldt State. Dug out by Humboldt State. Sent back over the net. Oh, that's a...
And they're just toe.
And once again, Drew Morris as well as number 20, Peyton Jensen, just connecting for that set spike.
Just Gamini checking back in, the leader for the Gators. Drew Morris here to serve. A nice block by Finn. She just tossed that over.
Now serving Drew Morris, number 1.
She just got so much power behind that ball.
She was
Jackson able to get it over the net.
23-10. It's been a story all game, as Drew Morris has been sending, absolute missiles at this Humboldt defense.
They've maintained their energy. The Jacks definitely have not, and they have not come out hot on any 3 of the games thus far against the SF State Gators.
Oh, ball stays alive for SF State.
Too many touches.
Count the point. Too many touches. Seemed like they almost had a Sports Center highlight play right there, as the ball was dug out by somebody's foot. It stayed in the air, but they counted it as a 4th touch. Spike beautifully dug out by SF State. Great communication by Dietz. And again, the block by number 14 and number 20 on SF State.
She sent a rocket into the hands of SF State gets another point. Excuse me, the Humboldt State Jacks get a point as SF State sends that ball out of bounds.
Spike sent over by SF State. It lands, now sitting on match point in the 3rd set here. A point for SF State would end the game. with a third consecutive set taken.
Kills and blocks here for SF State, just showing the mentality, able to tap that ball over.
Serve here, returned by Humboldt. Serve, or spike does not make it over, gets returned. Dug out by SF State, but point goes to Humboldt.
The cone has just been blocked all game. Matter of fact, all series, but SF State fails to get that as the Humboldt State Jacks rally over for another point. 24-13, the Gators lead.
Serve over by Humboldt. SF State looking to end the game here.
Nice tip over by Marlena Billy.
That is the match. SF State.
SF State 3-0 with their most wins since 2015.
SF State wins the game here. Dominant win by San Francisco State women's volleyball team. Seemed like Tebron as well as Jensen just took over for this team. Humboldt State did not have an answer for the spikes that were being sent their way from SF State.
SF State just celebrating as their playoffers stay alive. And we are here at the Swamp with another victory for the Gators. They coming off of a loss from Cal State, LA, and what a momentum booster going into a winning season. They are now 9-7.
Yeah, unfortunately for Humboldt State, they're handed another loss in the division, falling to 0-8 on the year and sitting in the basement of the division. Playoffs not looking too likely for Humboldt, but with a win tonight for SF State, they stay alive, continuing that strive for having the most wins since 2015.
And this is a tough conference for the Gators here. I mean, they're looking dominant, but they are 7th in the conference. Or is it 6th?
They are currently 7th, actually 6th, and then 7th for Humboldt. Yeah, it is a very tough. Stanislaus is running it at 12-5 right now. But that is going to be a wrap on tonight's game. We are going to send it back to the studio, you guys. So thank you for tuning in.
I'm Ashley Stevens.
I'm Zach Priest,
and
thank you for
pleasure.
watching.